Now's a very good time for me to introduce a person that really meant a lot to Robert and I in high school. He was our band, not actually our band teacher, but we were really lucky. When we went to school, back in our day, there were no kids. No, back in our day, we were lucky enough to have it was a public high school, and yet they had enough funds to actually hire a composer in residence. So they hired this really cool guy who wrote charts just for us. So when we played our big band charts at high school, they weren't like anybody else's charts. They were just specifically made for us, for the way that I played, for the way that he played, and we won everything that we did, every high school thing that we did. I'm not saying because of me or anything, but part of the whole group, we were so good because our charts were so good, and he was such an inspiration to us. He's the one that pretty much showed me who to listen to on the sax, and that really, if it wasn't for him, I'm telling you, I would not be standing here today. He wouldn't be playing here tonight either. And it's rare that he's in the audience. I don't know if he's ever actually seen us play. It's been about 25 years, but we're really lucky. I want to introduce his name is Jim Gardner. Jim, would you stand up and wave to everybody and take responsibility for what you've done? There he is, right there. Now, the most important thing is that he let me drive his convertible Fiat when I was in high school, and that meant a lot to me. I grew up fast, but really, seriously, if it wasn't for him, I would not be standing here playing this today. So, Jim, thank you so much for taking such good care of us. In fact, the first gig that I actually played, the first real gig, I played in Barry White's Love Unlimited Orchestra. I kind of offset the balance there, if you know what I'm trying to say. You remember that, Robert? I was 17, I was in high school, and Jim was having lunch with the director of the Seattle Symphony, who, it was Barry White's Love Unlimited Orchestra. Wasn't just, they didn't travel with the whole orchestra, they traveled with the rhythm section. And then they put the orchestra together. Well, their sax player, for some reason, got sick, so they needed a sax player. So he's having lunch with the symphony guy, and the symphony guy's going, I can't find a sax player, man. He's got to be able to read music, he's got to be able to solo. And the guy goes, well, I know this Jewish kid in my band. I mean, he only weighs 88 pounds, but I think he's pretty good. He goes, I don't care, just hire him. Just tell him he's got to have a black suit and show up, on the bus on Friday. So I went there. I didn't have a black suit. I had a plaid jacket that I wore at my bar mitzvah. That's what I had. And I showed up, and I'm like 20 years younger than anybody else there, I'm like this little kid. And they didn't even want to let me on the bus. But I did a great job that weekend. It was my first gig. I got a lot of, it gave me really my start, that gig with Barry White. And if it wasn't for Jim going out on a limb for this little kid here, so again, thank you. I can't say enough about him.